Hey everybody, this is Collected Edition Tuesdays with the officially unofficial Geek Channel. I am Carrie Quinn as your host. As always, I'm here bringing you the geek energy all the time. And I made a promise I'm not going to be able to keep with you guys. It happens, but I have not finished Metal. So, you may be asking yourself, so if Carrie hasn't finished Metal, then what is she doing for Collected Edition Tuesdays? It's Collected Edition Tuesdays. She's got to do a Collected Edition. She promised us Metal. What the frick is the problem? Well, first of all, cool your jets. I do have a Collected Edition to talk to you guys about today. But before we get to the Collected Edition that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, um, let's do a little hauling here. I'm gonna I'm gonna sweeten the deal with the fact that I haven't finished Metal because it is like, guys, if you've never read Metal, this stuff is like complex. And like I do have it sitting here um where I usually read. And I have taken to making notes as I read. And it's not about each like issue. It's about like major things that like compelling things that I think might make a lot of a big deal later in the story because it's really complex in the middle of a freaking issue. Like I can tell you that just like yesterday, I read 3 issues in this thing, and excuse me, no, I only read 2 issues. There were, was it two? 2 or 3, 2 to 3 issues yesterday. And it felt like I was stopping every so often to write a note on a piece of paper and stick it in the book. And when I'm finally done with Metal and I finally do it in front of you guys, talk about it, you'll see exactly what I mean. Really complex stuff. Lots of stuff happening. Lots of fun stuff happening. Lots of stuff that I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying the read so far. It's just really big. Um, but anyways, enough explanation. I'm giving you guys a haul and a review of another story because I came across something this past weekend that I had been wanting. And I found it in a Half Price Books, which is basically, if you don't have Half Price Books, it's a used bookstore where you can buy things. Um, Obviously, because it's a store. Duh, Carrie. It's a used bookstore. They buy and sell books, records, CDs, movies, what have you. And one of the things they do keep is comics and graphic novels, used comics, used graphic novels. So I came across something that I am going to talk about that was part of my haul on Sunday. And I am actually going to tell you about it because it's a short little ditty. 3 issues plus extra. Um, So strap in what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to tell you about some really cool stuff that I got recently here. Um, First off, something that is sure to end up in the collected edition Tuesdays um, someday soon would be another collected edition that I got. I ordered it through Amazon because we were ordering a couple other things for Joe, Star Wars related, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get something for myself too to get that free shipping. And guys, I have been wanting this for a while because everybody has been recommending this webtoon and they finally started doing this is I think one of 2 collected editions, 2 or 3 that are set to come out. This is the first, this is volume 1. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is Rachel Smythe's Lore Olympus. I have it. It looks beautiful. I'm so excited. Yes, this collects episodes 1 through 25 of the number one webtoon core, or excuse me, comic Lore Olympus. So if you are not familiar with Lore Olympus, this is some beautiful shit here, okay? Like, just open it to any page and you get beauty, okay? Like, seriously. The art style, kind of is very, deco, maybe? No, I don't know. But it's like, it's not monochromatic, but it's like, there's a monochromatic kind of element depending on the character. So, let's talk about what we got on the back here. This is what it says it is. It's scandalous gossip, wild parties, and forbidden love. Witness what the gods do after dark in this stylish and contemporary reimagining of one of mythology's most known stories from creator Rachel Smythe. Persephone, young goddess of spring, is new to Olympus. Her mother, Demeter, has raised her in the mortal realm, but after Persephone promises to train as a sacred virgin, she is allowed to live in the fast moving, glamorous world of the gods. When her roommate Armistice takes her to a party, her entire life changes. She ends up meeting Hades and feels an immediate spark with the charming yet misunderstood ruler of the underworld. Now Persephone must navigate the confusing politics and relationships that rule Olympus, while also figuring out her own place and her own power. This edition of Smythe's original Eisner-nominated webcomic, Lore Olympus, features a brand new exclusive short story and brings the Greek pantheon into the modern age in a sharply perceptive and romantic graphic novel. And I am a sucker for the romance in graphic novels, as you will see from what ends up being the collected edition Tuesday this week. But this is Lore Olympus. This is not what I read for this week, but I am positively excited to eventually get into this. It is added to the stack. Stay tuned, and you will see me eventually talking about Lore Olympus. So one of the things that I did was I was at Half Price Books, and then I went to another comic book shop in the area. I was in Schaumburg, and I went to Half Price Books, like I mentioned, and I went to Keith's Comics on Roselle Road in Schaumburg. So some of these came from Half Price Books, and some of these next ones came from uh, Keith's Comics in Schaumburg on Roselle Road. I got a number of single issue floppies from both locations, and I'm going to show them off now because I'm pretty excited about what I got. Found some good ones, actually. Okay. I am a sucker for a foil cover, okay? And I saw this. It is, I'm reading it right now, Metal number 6. It's got this beautiful shiny foil cover. Look at that shit. Like, that's pretty darn cool. Okay, so obviously, I have not gotten to this issue yet of Dark Knight's Metal. I will eventually, and like I said, talk to you guys about it. I do have the collected edition, obviously. So this is just it's so pretty. So it's gnarly and it's pretty at the same time, and I love it. Next we have another Dark Knight's Metal, starring our wonderful Diana Princess de Mascura, and the Batman Who Laughs, and with his minions. This is another metal number 6 variant cover, and yeah, pretty gosh darn awesome. This one I love because it has, obviously, Yeah, I don't think I need to mention it, but it has, I love with some of the Batman and Robin issues during that time period, they had that yellow background. It's all pretty cool. I like it a lot. And this is Batman and Robin number 23. Got this at Half Price Books. It's awesome. As you guys know from that and from this next one, I love Red Hood, and I thought this was awesome. This is a Batman and Red Hood number 20 from the New 52. So it's pretty awesome. I love it. So I found this at Half Price Books as well, and I'm excited to add that to my collection. One of the things that I've been doing, that I've been trying to set up for my studio when I get back to setting it up, is I want to have kind of like a portrait um, setup where like we have the books and we have like a little bit of a portrait gallery within the bookcase. And I'm going to be changing them out, and not everything is always going to be the same. I've got like plenty of Harley Quinn, I've got some Catwoman, and I've got this as one of them for that setup. That's particularly why I got this. Okay, so the next two that I'm going to show you are actually grails of mine. They're ones that there's a 3-issue series in Batman recently that during Tom King's run, where it's the Everyone Loves Ivy storyline. I've got number 41, and now here I've got number 42. This was at Keefe's Comics. And number 43. Yeah. Love this. I'm so excited. This completes that 3-issue arc story. I now have it. I rule. Let's see here. The next one I'm going to show you. Everybody knows, if you've watched my channel, you know how much I love me some Harley Quinn. This is one of the 25th anniversary issues of Harley Quinn. I got one of these really cool covers, one of the ones that I do like and that I did want. I have others that I want, but this is one of them. Yeah, so I got that. That is from Keefe's Comics as well. This last one's also from Keefe's Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Stanley Archer has some really awesome variant covers out there. I'm sure anyone that reads comics regularly knows this man, this work. And I saw this one that I have been eyeing for quite a while. It's another kind of portrait type one that's going to get, like I said, added to the portrait gallery, so to speak. And it is Catwoman number 5 from Jones and Allred. And it is this one. And now I have it. Yay! I just love how he works with color here. In this, just this blurring of the colors. But then you have this absolutely stunning pop of green, just beautiful jeweled jade green color in Selena Kyle's eyes. I love it. It's truly just a wonderful, wonderful work of art here. Beautiful. Okay, so that brings us to the point where we can talk about the collected edition that I do have to present to you today, because it was part of my haul. I did find it at Half Price Books in Schaumburg, and I was quite surprised to find it. It was basically a fly by the seat of my pants kind of purchase, but it is something that I've definitely talked about, that I've wanted to read and talk about here before. I just didn't think it was going to happen this soon. But today, for Collected Edition Tuesdays, I'm going to be talking to you about this little ditty, the Deluxe Edition, the wedding album, Batman, Catwoman. I'm going to pause for applause. Batman and Catwoman, the wedding album, Deluxe Edition. It is here. It is hardcover, and it is nice. Got it from Half Price Books. Yeah. Okay. So, lots of really cool stuff in this thing. Let me tell you. Let me see here. Let me see. I can tell you what I paid for it, which is obviously not the cover price because it is Half Price Books, guys. All right, there's a method to their madness. But this is, I believe I paid $9 for it. Hardcover. It's a thin one. It's a thin boy, but here we got the spine here. You guys can see it. Yeah, it's the Deluxe Edition. It has one of those velvety like feels to it. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, so what does the wedding album, the Deluxe Edition, cover? Okay, so we've got the engagement, which is Batman number 24. We have the dress, Batman number 44. And we have the big day, Batman number 50. Now, number 50 has a lot of different artists. Like each page is a different art team. Okay. So there's a lot of different artists. Everyone with different pages is like awesome. And it's basically telling a little bit of their history through the last, 80 some odd years. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what I liked about the story before I talk about and then what I liked about the book before I tell you what my issues were, because I do have some. Okay. I would love to come in here and give this glowing recommendation of this collected edition series. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of a gray spot here with this. It's not all sunshine and rainbows here, okay? As we find out with Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne's relationship, it's not all rainbows, peaches and cream, and sunshine. Or starshine. Starshine, maybe, more like, with these two. So let's get down to business here. First off, kind of funny because I had never read these 3 issues in particular before. I haven't. So this is the first time I read these. And I love the fact that in my life, I got the opportunity to, a few weeks ago on Flashback Friday, to do the Flashback Friday of the first appearance of Catwoman, the cat. Because they really did, in the beginning, with this first issue, they did a massive callback to that moment where, if you recall, Catwoman, the cat, as she was referred to back then, was found to have stolen this huge diamond. And what happens is he gets the idea that he's not going to be afraid anymore, and he's going to allow himself to try and be happy. And he goes and he meets up with her on a rooftop, of course, and says, the moment we first met, you'd stole that ring, that huge diamond. And this is a callback to the boat in Batman #1 back in 1940, where they first met. Um, and he informs her that, geez, guys, he informs her that he went out afterwards because he knew then he had met this person, and he bought that ring. He bought that diamond. And then he basically turns around and he's now proposing to her with that diamond ring, with that diamond. That's some beautiful shit right there. Okay? Girlfriend stole a diamond. I believe if I remember correctly, it was a diamond necklace that she stole. So he took the diamond and had it made into a ring, and now he's proposing with it. The diamond she stole, he went back and bought. Oh man, that's some deep shit. That's pretty awesome. And I love that they did it that way. I love that Tom King wrote it that way. Um, I I'm hoping this was a um writer's choice kind of thing. And even if it wasn't, well, bravo to DC, because that was beautiful. And the way it was written, bravo to Tom King, because that was just, it was amazing. So basically, the end of that first issue is she's accepting his proposal. So the next issue in the series, in the book, in the collected edition, is the wedding dress issue. Now I love this because that was Batman #44. Did anyone actually think that Catwoman was going to go out and just buy a wedding dress? No. Catwoman gets up in the middle of the night, breaks into the bridal shop, and has herself a little party because she's just gonna do it on her own, because that's how she is. She's not gonna, one, she's gonna not, pay for the hella expensive wedding gown. And two, she is not the kind of woman that's gonna have like the whole people helping her. She does it herself. So she goes and she has herself a little party. And she picks out her wedding gown, and that's basically the issue. Um, and it seems really, when I'm talking about it, it seems like really simplistic, but like, no, it was a lot of fun. She's sitting there and she's, it says like the different time. When she gets done, she picks it out, she steals it, because it's a hella expensive wedding dress, but it's the perfect one. It's the one she wants. And she comes back and she gets in to the manor, to the Wayne Manor, before Bruce wakes up. But it's after Alfred has woken up. And Alfred actually sees her putting the dress in the closet, and she's like, "Shh, don't tell anyone." And Alfred just, it's cute because Alfred just smiles. He's you know what? Alfred at this point has seen it. He has seen some stuff, and he's like, you know what? If the worst thing this chick's gonna do is steal some diamonds and a dress, maybe I don't care. He doesn't seem to care. I don't care. She's a good egg otherwise. So that's basically the issue. Her finding and stealing her wedding dress. Now, the big event, #50, Batman 50, which is where it's supposed to go down, but then it doesn't. Because, spoiler alert, if you're reading Batman right now, you obviously know Selena Kyle and Batman did not get married. And Oh my gosh. It is so heartbreaking. I literally, it's one of those things where, like I talked about on the channel before, where I had sought it out just to kind of figure out, maybe I can see some pages to see what happened, before I even read it. So when I bought this, I was like, okay, so I get to the car, I'm like searching for the page. And I was like, before we go any further, I just need you to do this. And I handed it to Joe, and I was like, he's like, I'll read it later. I'll read it later. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Now that I have this in my possession in a book form, I need you to read it. And it's basically that last page where it's like most of there's actual scenes of conversation between characters and everything like that. But then there's a lot of pages where it's just going through the different like looks of Batman and Catwoman throughout the years. And it comes to this when it has those pages, it's mostly just each other's letters to each other. And you get to the point where Selena realizes, and her letter turns from, I'm going to marry you today, into, I'm actually not going to marry you today. um, there's this page where it turns into that, where she's talking about how um, she could see who he really was and what drove him. Um, and that if she took away his misery, if she made him happy, she would kill the drive that is Batman. That there would be no Batman. She got it into her head that if she made him happy, then there'd be no reason to have any more Batman. And she could not live with the idea that Batman wouldn't exist because of her. Whereas you are also like reading his letter to her, whereas he's just basically like, yeah, like I find this, it's this idea of finding this new purpose, and being like, really, just here it is, right? And she goes and she gets Holly out of Arkham to be her witness. They decide they're going to elope. They get a judge who is like really drunk to come and witness their wedding on a rooftop. And she gets Holly to come help her and be her witness. She and Bruce gets um, Alfred to be his witness. Um, and there's this really like, I'm gonna let y'all like find it and like actually read it for yourselves, because there's this moment that just also tugs at your heartstrings, knowing where we're going with this storyline and this, this everything of Tom King involving Batman. We know where this is progressing to. We know this is eventually going to end up in a very sad position for Alfred and Batman and Bruce, the whole Bat family. Um, and to have that moment where Bruce asks Alfred to be his witness over, Alfred offers to call Dick. He offers to call, whoever. Um, and he's like, no, it should just be you. And there's this moment that is just absolutely, considering what we know, that if you've been reading it, happens eventually, involving Batman and the Bat family and Alfred and everything that happens. It's really just this beautiful, like, bittersweet moment, and made me a little bit sad. um I was already getting sad because I saw where her letter was going. And so then when I see where that is, and the thing is there's this moment after they get dressed and she's still into it. She's still going to do it. And they meet up and they see each other. And it's just like, oh my God. So then she is in the car headed there with Holly, and he's in another car headed there with Alfred. And he gets there, and the judge is there, and she doesn't come. And you find out that, like I said, the end of her letter turns into the "I will not be marrying you today" kind of letter that's absolutely heartbreaking because she's like, I can't marry you if it means that I kill Batman. If I stop Batman because I made you happy, I couldn't deal with that. And absolutely beautiful, heartbreakingly beautiful. And obviously, we know now they are not married. Um, we know that obviously, if you've been keeping up with Batman, if you've been keeping up with Catwoman, and their singular issues, we know that there's still that attachment to each other. However, they have not officially gotten back together yet. Um, who knows if it'll ever get that way? But I personally feel that Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne are meant to be. They're soulmates, and anytime I see anyone's talking about the many loves of Bruce Wayne and it's like a top 10 list, and I saw this recently, and number one was not Selena Kyle, well then that just screws up the whole entire goddamn list for me. And I throw it aside and I say, no, sir, or ma'am, it's Selena Kyle. None of this other stuff. None of that, none of that, none of that. If you do not have Selena Kyle as number one love interest for Bruce Wayne, you're wrong. That's just my opinion. You're wrong. Whew. Anyways, so what happens is accompanying in the back of this beautiful, beautiful deluxe edition is all the covers and the variant covers. And now I know a new cover that I definitely need is Mark Brooks's. Is it? Yeah, that's his name, I believe. Mark Brooks. I'm totally looking for this darn thing. Let me tell you. Where did it go? Okay, wait. Here we go. All right. So if you were gonna, I just found like the little thing just to that would have come inside the plastic. If you were to buy this, it would be $17.99, so $18 at the store. So, and I bought it for $8.99, so half off basically. Let's see here. Where is it? Where's the one? I'm looking for the ultimate cover that I absolutely love. To me, like, because to me it gave me like major like tarot card vibes. Yes, right here, this beauty right here, where she's definitely looking like the Queen of Wands here. And if you do tarot, if you know tarot, you know what I mean when I'm talking Queen of Wands here, like total Queen of Wands energy. Um, the queen upon her throne being flanked by her cats. Yeah, basically. Um, so you have this gallery, this image gallery of all the images of the variant covers and so on and so forth and that kind of thing, as if you didn't get enough badass art throughout this entire thing. Okay, so different interpretations of their history together. You also get all that stuff annotated as part of this book as well. So this is obviously something done up involving their first meeting right here, because she does make the comment, haven't you ever seen a pretty girl before? which is definitely something she says in Batman #1, 1940. Um, what's the use? I know when I'm licked. Yeah, she's like, that's exactly what she says. And that is actually, that little bit is in the middle of the wedding dress issue. So that's awesome. You have all that from starting in the wedding dress issue and going through to #50. Like, yeah, this is pretty awesome stuff. That let's see here. Like, you got like all kinds of retro looking stuff, but it's like new art with the yeah. Lovely, 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 lovely. Now, let's talk about what I didn't like. Okay, so this covered issues Batman #24, Batman 44, and Batman 50. 50 being the one with the wedding that did not happen. So, you get a little bit of the idea of why Selina is not going to be joining Bruce at the altar, or their altar, which is a rooftop. Um, you get an idea, you know why she's saying this. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you're really, really paying attention, you see that she doesn't really, that Holly does help her a little bit with that kind of idea. And Holly is supposed to be instrumental in making sure that it doesn't happen, based on the context that she has in Arkham, and you do see that. Um, However, if you're not really looking for it, it just looks like Selina came to this conclusion on her own. Like, okay, so Selina, what really happened is you had cold feet. All right? But no. Here's the thing. You have a number of issues that are preludes to the wedding that did not get included. You also have, even if you could exclude all of those, which you probably could, there is definitely a moment in 2 issues before #50 where she does not get there on her own. She does not get to that mindset on her own. She is definitely helped to that mindset. And so if you have read the deluxe edition, you're just like, what's the deal, Selina? Like, what's wrong, really? Let's dissect this. If you get to that point of reading just those 3 issues and you're like, what's the deal? I highly recommend checking out, if you have access to it, reading Batman 48 and 49. I had access to it, and I did. So, upon reading Batman 48 and 49, you know really what's going on for Selina as a whole, and how she gets to the point where she thinks that if she were to marry Batman, marry Bruce, it would kill the Batman, because he wouldn't have a reason, he wouldn't have the misery to be Batman anymore. And we have the Joker to thank for this. Of course. Of course we have the Joker to thank for this. And if you were going to read any of the preludes to the wedding, it would be the Joker versus, or the Harley versus Joker prelude, where Harley is basically like, I know you, and I'm going to stop you from doing whatever you think you're going to do here. Because this is a goddamn fairy tale. And if my life is not a goddamn fairy tale, somebody's life is going to be a goddamn fairy tale. And I am going to capture you and kidnap you and keep you here until it's over. Well, unfortunately, in that issue, she does do that. She does kidnap him. She does keep him in one spot, but he overpowers her and he leaves. And then we get basically what happens in Batman number 48 and 49. The Joker dresses up and decides he's going to go take over a church with a wedding going on, and he basically kills everyone, um, as Joker does. And this draws the attention of Batman and Selena, who are both someplace else, dealing with, planning out their thing, right? Their upcoming nuptials. And they hear the gunshots nearby, and Batman goes and runs off, and he's like, no, it could be dangerous. I'll go handle it. I'll be fine. So he gets there, and he ends up getting, um, ends up being kind of like knocked out underneath some rubble. And then the gunshots keep going off. And at this point, Selena can hear them. And she's like, okay, so I know you told me that I shouldn't, but you know what? I'm gonna anyway. So Selena shows up. And the Joker starts fighting with her. Now they get to this point where they both injure each other. And they're basically kind of lying there nearby each other. She like cuts open his neck. He, shoots her, and they're both kind of holding their injuries, and they can't move. So basically you have this whole comic of them having little conversations. Where eventually you get to the point near the end where the Joker is like, if you cure him of his misery, there will no longer be a Batman. He's the one that puts it in her head. Because you make him so happy. If you make him too happy, we all lose him as Batman. Because he won't want to be Batman anymore. And there you go. Now, that is my major complaint involving this deluxe edition. This is supposed to be a deluxe edition of this storyline. Okay, cool. It really needed to include 48 and 49 because, somebody could say, wow, like, how does Selena even come to this conclusion that, this would happen? Like, what's real deal here? Well, the thing is if you include Batman 48 and 49, you know exactly what the real deal is. You know exactly why she gets the idea that she's not going to marry him. And it really needed to be included in the deluxe edition. 2 more issues, guys. 2 more. And it makes a more complete story. 2 more. You could have there's absolutely no reason to have not included these 2 issues that have directly to do with storyline of the wedding. So that's my major complaint here. That's my major complaint. It's incomplete because character motivations, folks. Clear character motivations and means to an end with an outcome. Here it confuses people. Add those 2 issues, it's no longer confusing. There you go. So that is Batman Catwoman, the wedding album, the deluxe edition, plus two extra that I just talked about, 48 and 49. Um, Believe me, there are some absolutely beautiful moments, there's some absolutely sad moments, and there's some absolutely beautifully sad moments in this 3-issue series. And I do recommend it despite the fact that they did not include those two other issues that I feel like needed to be included. Um, but other than that, very lovely, very wonderful. I am really, 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 really going to get you this. I'm going to stop promising it. I'm going to stop promising metal. See, you got my little notes in there. I'm going to stop promising metal and then it will happen. Yeah. Anyway, so what's stuff that's coming up over the next few days? I am still undecided on what I'm going to be doing for Flashback Friday. I am thinking, I'm not really thinking anything yet. I have to actually think on that one. And I will talk about that tomorrow, to give you an idea, to let you look forward. I will be doing What's Happening Wednesday tomorrow, and it's going to be a very special episode of What's Happening Wednesday, in that we're kind of taking a turn towards the regular pop culture end of things, which I sometimes do. I know I'm very heavy on the comics here, but um, this past weekend, I was driving home with Joe from dinner on Friday night, and we heard a cover of a song that was from a soundtrack of a movie and soundtrack that I absolutely loved when I was a young Carrie. And that movie is Eddie and the Cruisers. Well, good luck finding it streaming anywhere, because it's not. When I say good luck finding it streaming anywhere, it's because it's not streaming anywhere. And I'm not even talking about like, hey, can't stream it free anywhere. No, you can't even pay to stream it anywhere. Okay, because I was willing to do that. For reals. Um, so I decided, we'll look for a DVD version. Very hard to find. Very hard to find. But I did it. I found the a Blu-ray, version of it. Not only Eddie and the Cruisers, but also Eddie and the Cruisers 2 with the help of my wonderful boyfriend. He is going to watch it with me. Tomorrow's What's Happening Wednesday. We are planning on watching the first Eddie and the Cruisers movie. And then, if the mood strikes us, we're going to watch the second Eddie and the Cruisers movie for next What's Happening Wednesday. And yeah, Eddie and the Cruisers on the dark side. Look it up. But okay, guys, that has been this week's edition of Collected Edition Tuesdays. You got a haul, you got an explanation, an excuse involving metal, and you got a wedding that didn't happen. But still, a wedding. And yeah, so yeah, I do not know, like I said, I do not know what I'm going to be doing for Flashback Friday, so I'm going to work that out before tomorrow evening when I do an overview with Joe, What's Happening Wednesdays of Eddie and the Cruisers. So stay tuned. It's a good movie, and you will find out if Joe likes it because he's never seen it. And so that's it for Collected Edition Tuesdays. I am your host, Carrie Quinn, officially unofficial geek channel. You know what? If you haven't subscribed yet, what's holding you up? Hit the subscribe button. Let's jive here, guys. Ooh. Let's get alone and talk some comics and some pop culture too. Oh my god, did I just make my theme song? Who knows? Okay, anyways, guys, that's it. Officially unofficial geek channel, collected edition Tuesdays. I'll be seeing you around. Bye.